Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in once again to the Manny Hall Show. I have with me Candis. She is a finance specialist, credit specialist. She'll get you together, for real. But, Candice, are you ready?
Absolutely.
All right, no, we're about to get in. You're going to learn a lot of cool things about this young lady and all the great things that she's doing here around the city of Cleveland and across the country. Tune in to Manny Hall Show.
Vibe, and that's a vibe, that's a vibe, oh, it's a vibe, and that's a vibe, yeah.
Hey, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing amazing. Please tell the people your name and what you do.
My name is Candis Johnson, affectionately known as Candis the Credit Shiro. I am a credit coach, so I help people restore and rebuild their credit and get their life affairs in order.
Nice. Why do people suck at their credit so much?
One of the reasons is because we weren't taught the importance of credit in school. Back in the day, before the mid 2000s, credit wasn't used as much. It wasn't as much of a factor in your everyday lifestyle as it is today. And a lot of times, because our parents were not aware of how important finances and credit was, there was a cycle that continued from generation to generation. So at that point in time, unfortunately, we did not gain the benefit of understanding, learning, and educating ourselves about credit, finances, living wills and trusts, identity protection, and things of that nature.
Gotcha, that makes sense. So do you think that if we were taught about credit and finances, at least in high school, that things would be a little bit better in our country?
Absolutely. And I think that it would be a better world. I think if a lot of people had their credit together, we wouldn't have as much robbing and stealing.
Gotcha.
Killings and hatred. I think that cycle would be less of a crime than what it is today.
Gotcha. And that makes sense, and I totally agree, because the reason why people do a lot of robbing and stealing is because they're hurting financially.
Absolutely.
And they might not necessarily have the tools at their arsenal to make a good financial decision. So they spend their money unwisely. Now it's gone, they broke, lost their job, all these different things. And now it's like, all right, got to take them from somebody else now.
And it's unfortunate, one of the things that a lot of people don't know, one of our number one crimes in America today is identity theft.
Okay.
Because people are broke, as you stated.
Yeah.
And every 2 seconds, someone's identity is stolen or compromised. And it's unfortunate that we live a life where we rob Peter to pay Paul and rob each other.
Yeah.
But that's where I come in at, and I hope you get that protected.
Yeah, for sure. Now, tell us about your personal journey. Like, how did you get to this place?
Well, where I came from was I had less than perfect credit myself. I had a 540 credit score and a little over $5,000 worth of debt.
Gotcha.
At that time, my husband and myself was trying to purchase a home. I didn't know anything about credit. I'll be honest. I had no clue that credit was a part of the buying process. I had no clue that would play a major factor in getting approved for a loan. And I had spoke with one of my friends, and he told me that there was a gentleman that he had went through by the name of Daniel the Credit Man.
Gotcha.
And he said, look him up on Facebook, contact him, and he'll, reach back out to you. So when I called him, I got started, I got signed up, and to be truthfully honest, I don't want to say that I was necessarily skeptical, but I was cautious and hesitant.
And that makes sense.
Because credit restoration can be a scam industry.
Absolutely, because there's a lot of people scamming, and when you think of all the individuals that are doing the right thing, there's probably 1,000 that's doing the wrong thing, from Craigslist to eBay, everywhere.
Yep, absolutely. So at that point, I reached out to him. He reached back out to me. I got signed up December of 2014. By mid-February of 2015, my credit score went to a 668. So it went from a 540 to a 668.
Nice.
None of the debt that I had, I paid back legally. I never paid any of that debt back legally.
Nice.
And at that point in time, my credit score within about 4.5 to 5 months after that went to a 723.
Nice.
And
So he really helped you.
absolutely, he did. And in the process, I kept sending people to him, so he was just like, hey, why don't you do this yourself? And I was like, don't I have to go to school for this? He said, no, but you do have to get trained. You know, it's just like a job. When you go on your job, you get training, even though you may have a degree in that area of expertise.
Yep.
But for that particular company, you need to be trained in what their craft is.
For sure. So, how did you get your credit to that place that it was at before, though? Like when it was at a 540? Because, you know, a lot of people have bad credit, and everybody's story is a little bit different. So how did you get to that place?
One of the biggest issues was letting people put stuff in my name.
Gotcha. No, did it start way back in the day? Like, you know, because our moms and dads back in the day would put light bills, cable bills, and our names. Did it start way back then, or was it just like as you got a little bit older?
It happened more so when I got a little bit older.
Okay.
My mother, she has excellent credit.
Nice. Okay.
She's always had excellent credit. I was just hard-headed and didn't listen. Gotcha. Now, was it a family member or a close friend that you was like, yeah, I'll put this car in my name, I'll do this for you? What was it? It was my cousin's wife.
Okay.
And she needed some utilities to be put in my name. At the time, I think I was maybe 16, 17 years old. And me being young and dumb at that time, I said, okay, go ahead. Not realizing and understanding, well, if she need her bills to go on my name, what's wrong with her name as to why she need me?
Exactly.
I wasn't thinking like that.
Exactly. So you were just trying to show love and look out.
Exactly. They had 6 kids. And I knew once my cousin was incarcerated, it kind of became a struggle for his wife. Me and her at that time was close.
Gotcha.
So I looked at it as being a favor to the children, more so her and him.
Now where does the balance come in, Candis? Because like a lot of times we get put in these situations where you want to look out for somebody, they're a close friend, you don't want to see either them or especially the kids have to do without. And it's tough. But then it's like these individuals sometimes make very bad decisions and somebody's always bailing them out. But if always somebody's bailing them out, at what point do they have to take accountability for themselves? Like, how do we balance that?
I would say at that time I didn't have that mindset.
Okay. Makes sense.
So I didn't understand that.
Yeah.
However, today, because I have familiarized myself with my craft and my expertise, and I've educated myself, I've learned to pass that education on.
Gotcha.
In the process of me coaching you.
That makes sense. So that's part of your coaching. It's like, hey, it might be some individuals in your family, your friends, that might want you to do them a favor, but if it's going to potentially affect your credit, say no.
Well, I tell anybody, just being a person who was affected by that, not to do it, period.
Gotcha. Okay.
Because, again, you have to look at if they're in that situation that they needed you, what did they do or not do that affected them? And to make sure that cycle doesn't repeat itself, just say no. And I had to learn those 2 letters.
Gotcha.
Very
Saying
quick.
no is like major.
It is, and it could like make you feel a certain kind of way. On both ends, the person saying it and the person receiving.
Yeah, it can be liberating for you, but piss somebody else off. Like,
yes.
You might seem like the meanest person in the world for saying no, but it's like it's giving you life and the freedom. Because I've also been that person trying to look out. I've been co-signed for, and I've co-signed for other people, and it just ain't good. It's like even if things turn out good and they pay the debt, or in this case, like for the lights or gas bill, it's like then they think that they always got you. Because unfortunately, I went through that with my mom and dad.
Okay.
And I had to put a light bill in their name. And I'm grown at this point, like 20 something. And I looked out for them because I'm just like, okay, they fell on hard times. They're taking care of my niece. Understandable, whatever, I'm going to look out. And it wasn't even that they never paid the bill, but the bill was always late.
Okay.
And then it's like, when they got time for like the cable bill and like the internet to like get renewed for a new contract, they're like, hey, I need your social. Like, nope, we're not doing that no more. Well, how we supposed to do it? I'm not sure. We just can't do it no more. So it's like we really have to protect our identity, not from those that are trying to steal it maliciously, but even those closest to us.
Yeah, definitely. And sometimes it's a bittersweet moment, but sometimes you just have to be that person to have that conversation with them.
Mm-hmm.
And, you don't have to be nasty, but just tell them like, hey, listen, I did do this and I understand that. However, moving forward, I can no longer do that.
That's it.
And you don't necessarily have to give them a reason. Because at, the end of the day, this is your name.
Mm-hmm.
This is your credit. This is your finances that's going to be affected. Because guess what? If you co-sign for someone and their account goes delinquent, that's a possibility that you could receive a garnishment.
Yeah.
And whether they're paying you the money that's coming out of your check, which in the state of Ohio is 25% of your take home, and in Chicago, 30% of your take home.
Wow.
That's still affecting your credit score.
Yeah.
So when it's time for you to make another move,
Yeah.
now you like, okay, they pay me the money back, but I still can't get approved. I still can't make a move. I still can't do this and that.
Makes sense. All right, so let's go back there again. You were 16. You co-signed. No, what happened from after that?
I honestly don't know.
Okay.
I don't know if it was because she wasn't paying it at all. If it was because it was just, late payments because I never received a copy of the information. And it was just like, the way that I found out was because when it came time for me to move and put utilities in my name.
So at this point, you're like, what, 19, 20 something?
At this point, I was either 18 or 19 years old.
Okay.
And they just told me, like, you owe this and that. And I'm like, I don't owe nothing. I'm looking lost, not even thinking that this person has burnt me,
Right.
and did me wrong. But...
And it's not like somebody's going to tell you, hey, that bill, I ain't never paid that.
Exactly. So now I'm left stuck trying to find somebody to put my utilities in, and it was a headache. It was doing way too much.
Yeah.
Way too much.
So at that time, you probably were really frustrated.
Very.
Like, man, I'm a young person trying to get on my feet, get my own place. You were probably amply prepared at that time because, even to be 18, 19 saying I'm going to do this, most time that doesn't happen to like early 20s.
Right.
So you were doing your thing. That's good. But then it's like, I can't even do what I'm trying to do because I've made this decision regarding my credit. And it's like most people try to say, okay, well, cash is king. But for me, I always look at that as a positive negative, if that makes sense. So yeah, cash can be king, but if you're trying to make moves here in the US, you're gonna need some credit some way, shape, or fashion. So then what happened?
So at that point, I was able to find somebody to put my utilities in their name, and luckily, but God, my gas bill, I never end up having to pay that. So I'm able to get gas in my name, and it's no longer on my credit report. However, my lights is still delinquent, but they're no longer on my credit report.
Gotcha.
So just not to confuse things, just because something is no longer on your credit report does not mean that you do not owe it.
Exactly.
However, it doesn't mean that you necessarily have to pay it if it's been sent to a third-party collection company.
Right.
By law.
Absolutely. That's very, very true. Now, with everything that you have experienced so far, part of this little journey that we're discussing, what really gave you that ambition? Like, man, I got to get my credit fixed. Were you young at that point or a little bit older?
that's fast forwarding. I was approximately 27, 28 years old.
Okay.
When I got married, and at that point in time, I wanted to purchase a home, and then I got cold feet. That whole situation scared me.
Man, buying a house is scary though.
Yeah, I got cold feet, and I was just like, nah, this ain't for me. I don't want to do this now.
Right, I get it.
So, it pushed me because I'm like, I'm in this situation. She needed my name. It's a lot of people I know that got bad credit. So let me go ahead and take this serious and go ahead and work it as a business. And then on top of that, coming from a background of being a pharmacy technician, I had started going to school to become a pharmacist, and I got sick, so I stopped.
Gotcha.
And had to have surgery. At that point in time, I said, well, look, I'm tired of working with crazy people. Let me just go ahead and do this full time. I already don't really want anybody looking over my shoulder and telling me what to do and all that stuff. So let me become my own boss. Let me take this into an avenue where I can not only help myself, but I can help other individuals first and foremost.
Yeah.
So it pushed me. It pushed me, and it has become a passion.
Yeah. Now, as an entrepreneur, what would you say is the hardest part?
Consistency with clients.
On your part or their part?
On their part.
Okay.
Sometimes, like, for example, I've been in this since December of 2014, as I stated. And I've signed up people within the last 30 days from people that I talked to back in 2015, 2014.
Yeah. Yep. That's how it goes. And it's like I experienced the same thing with my coaching, whether it's business, life, or relationships. And they'll send me an inbox and see if this story is similar to yours. Hey, I'm interested, blah, blah, blah. This sounds so good. Like, yeah, like, when can we start? Right now. Like, am I honestly going to say tomorrow, next week or tomorrow? Like, no, I'm going to say right now. Let's go. I'm ready to help. And they're like, all right, well, I'm going to get back to you. Okay. Waiting. 6 months. A year. 2 years. Hey, do you remember me? Like it was yesterday.
I get that all the time.
You remember me? I said that I was going through this and I wanted your, because me and my husband, or this happens, like, no. But then if I like read through the messages and I'm like, okay, yeah, I remember now. Okay. All right, I'm ready to get started. Okay. Do you want to meet? Well, I just needed some more information. Like, are we playing games here? Like, really, what's going on? And it's like, because Candis, am I the only one? Am I the only one? Candis, tell me.
I go through that, and it's so funny because I had a person that literally started, and I helped her get. It's like, I want to say it was over $250,000 student loan dropped because she was considered disabled through the military.
Gotcha.
And it was still affecting her credit. So not only did I help her restore with her credit, but I got the loan dropped where she doesn't owe the $250,000.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So she got upset because of whatever reason. I had an emergency going on. I couldn't just jump right into a conversation with her. And I make sure I tell all of my clients, hey, if I can't, get to my phone right away, I will contact you back within 24 hours.
Right.
And she got upset, and she just sent me a nasty message. I've had clients, and it took her like a year and a half to get started.
Wow.
And she contacted me over 4 times. Hey, I'll be ready next week.
Yeah.
Hey, give me about 2 weeks.
But it's then like when you finally serious, I gotta drop everything in my life. Like you're the only client in the world.
Exactly. And then I had another client. She got upset with me because I would not meet with her. And I tell all of my clients, hey, if you're ready to get started, I have no issue with meeting with you.
Right.
But I've had situations where people will say, I'm ready to get started, and they don't want to render payment.
Right.
So now I've not only wasted my time, I wasted my gas,
Yep.
and I wasted my energy.
Exactly.
So, people don't understand the other side of the coin. They just look at it for what they want at that moment.
Exactly.
And it's not that easy.
Exactly.
So, I deal with it to a certain extent, and at some point, I have no problem with cutting you off. Like, I have to let some things go.
You have to.
I'm a true believer. Everything that we do is about energy. Everything that we put out into the universe.
I've been on that so much lately, Candis. Keep going.
And I can't let your hesitations stop the communication and flow of my business, where it will then affect other clients or even my entire business.
Because like early on when I first got started, you get that message from somebody, you pumped like, while somebody is, oh my gosh, like it's how it's going down, like yeah, I'm dope. So and then you're like, all right, how can I help you? Blah blah blah. Like, did you want to meet a person? And you so thirsty that you drive all across town to meet with them, not even if they are ready or not. Like, I just want to talk to somebody. And I've been in them same situations where it's like, I wasn't ready to like start. I just had some questions. Why are we sitting here? Like, you literally, we set up this whole thing to say, we're getting started. I'm meeting you here, confirm, all that. You not ready. You could have asked some same said questions on the phone. Or I could even allowed you to text me if you wanted to. No big deal. But you're not about to waste my time. Because like you said, that energy is like so big. And I allow myself to get so frustrated early on because I'm like, man, these people wasting my time. But really I had to take a step back and say, I allowed them to waste my time.
Yeah, it's about taking accountability.
Yeah.
And it's just a matter of strategizing and setting up your business the way you want to run it.
Exactly.
And some people accept it, some don't, and that's fine. But you're the one who still have bad credit, not me.
That's it. You're absolutely right.
You still gonna need my services.
Yeah.
You still gonna be getting denied. You still gonna pay high interest rates if you are approved.
Yeah.
You still are gonna need a service.
Yeah.
Whether you go through me or somebody else, and depending upon who the person is, you're not going to get the customer service that I project to my clients. You're not going to get the personalized moments that I have with my clients because I treat everybody as a case by case. I don't have not one of the same relationships with any client that I have.
Right.
All of them I treat individually. All of them I treat differently. Some of them I have to be very stern with for them to like really get it and understand it, and some just are like, whatever you say I'm gonna do, and they do it.
That makes sense.
And some are just not coachable at all.
That's real. So let's walk through how you actually help them, the user experience.
So when a client calls me, I do give them a free consultation. Upon that, once they get started, there are a few documents that they have to submit with proof of verification.
Okay.
And I coach them through the process by the questions that I've asked them in that consultation on how I need to guide them for their situation. However, with using the services and how we help restoring credit, we leverage a law called the Fair Credit Reporting Act, which was created by Congress or enacted by Congress in 1971. And it's just basically a law that's put into place to help protect us and our rights as the consumers.
All right.
And for example, one of those laws that we leverage is that items are supposed to be verified before they're added to your credit report. A couple reasons for that being is, one, you may have identity theft.
Right.
There are not a lot of people who pull or even pay attention to their credit reports on a monthly basis or yearly basis where you check to see, hey, is this my stuff? Or, has this been sold off? So on and so forth. And at that point in time, we challenge those derogatory items that are on the credit report once all 3 credit reports are pulled. And with those items being challenged, they have the possibility to either be deleted or updated to a positive standing to reflect paid as agreed. However, in either case, that can help definitely significantly increase your credit score.
Nice. That's awesome. And when someone, reaches out to you to get started, even though we kind of joked about it, like what is the normal process that you feel comfortable with?
As far as the consultation,
Uh-huh.
I more so just ask them questions.
Okay.
Because I don't really...
Just to understand their current situation.
Exactly.
Okay.
Because I won't really know what's going on unless if you tell me.
Makes sense.
And at that point in time, one of the biggest things that I try to let my clients know is that I'm not here to judge you. I'm not here to point the finger or laugh at you or blame you or anything. I'm here to help you. So
Yeah.
I just need you to be honest with me.
Absolutely.
And, let me know what's going on, because if I've told you a certain process or step, or I've coached you with a specific directive, if I don't know the entire truth or the truth at all, and we just make one wrong move, that can set you back.
Very true. All right.
So that's pretty much it.
That makes sense. Now, as we get out of here, Candis, do you or can you provide like any helpful tips that people can glean from to help get their credit fixed or just avoid certain things and pitfalls?
I'll give you a lot of tips.
Okay, let's talk.
First tip, don't put people's stuff in your name. Do not allow them to use your social security number. Don't co-sign for anyone. Let them know, hey, there is help for you. You can get in contact with Candis the Credit Shiro, and she can help you.
Right.
Or someone on my team.
Right.
Another thing, make sure that you're paying all of your bills on time. Whether it's your utility bills, your car insurance, your car note, make sure that stuff is being paid on time. If you have credit cards and you, whether they're secured or unsecured, you want to make sure that you're utilizing no more than 30% of whatever your limit is. So for example, if you have a $300 limit, you don't want to utilize more than $90. If you have an $800 limit, you don't want to utilize more than $240.
Gotcha.
Make sure that those bills are being paid on time. There's also a way that you want to pay those bills, and I go over that with my clients when they sign up.
I love it.
Another thing is, if you are just at that mark of hitting a 700 club, try not to use more than 7 to 10% of your limit, because it'll help increase your score a little faster. Excuse me. I go over a lot of different tips per.
I'm gonna just tell them to contact you.
Go ahead. Contact me. My Instagram is Candis, CANDIS _ the credit _ Shiro. Or you can look me up on Facebook at Candis Johnson, CANDIS. And my telephone number is 216-240-6644. Email address is candis.johnson@ymail.com. And that's the letter Y, not the word.
Awesome. Well, Candis, I really appreciate your time. This has been very, very good. And, in the beginning, I really wanted you to talk about your personal journey, which you did, because I wanted people to really get an understanding of, you're a credit coach, but you had a little journey to go through yourself, so it becomes more relatable.
Absolutely.
So I appreciate this.
Can't have a testimony without a test.
Say that. All right, y'all. We are out the Manny Hall Show. Peace.